For most, early October is a time frame where hunters' conversations revolve around what's to come, and daydreaming of rut-crazed bucks is a common pastime, foreshadowing the good times ahead. However, this isn't a time to be complacent, if you have the right recipe. Every year, seemingly more and more success is found during this otherwise ignored part of the season. Episode 2 showed us that when conditions line up with year-long preparation, opportunities present themselves. Making good on all of the hard work he and Justin put into their farm during the off-season, Tyler Bellman closed the story with the Missouri monarch known as Crab King. Now, the promised cold front is here, greeting the Midwest with nearly perfect conditions. Back in northern Missouri, the evening of October 6th finds Justin Luebrecht in the hot seat, going after a tall brow-tine giant.
Guys, it's October the 6th. Tyler and I are back up here at the main farm, and we slipped up in here and did a hanging hunt over these green beans. And what we've been noticing is the deer have really been starting to hammer them as we feel like it's the last field in the area that's green. We're in here after a particular buck we call Bowser. He's at least a 6.5-year-old mainframe 10, and he's been using this area a lot here recently, so the winds are a little calm. They're supposed to pick up toward the evening, and just hopefully maybe he decides to come out here and get one more last bite of these green beans.
As Justin settles into his stand overlooking the green beans in front of him, 150 miles to the north, having worked all day, Mike Reed and Rye Ludwig are just arriving to the river farm.
Hey guys, it is Thursday, October 6th, and it is my first official sit of the 2022 Iowa archery season. Got out of work today and Ryan and I ran down to the River Bottom farm, and it feels awesome. We have a front blowing through. The wind has been out of the southeast for the better part of the week, all last week due to the hurricane. So it's finally switching out of the north and the pressure's on the rise. And I couldn't help but get out here and come make a sit. So we're sitting on the south edge of my central timber here. That's how we've referred to it in the past. Got a bunch of oaks in here, lots of acorns on the ground. And I set this stand up, a year and a half ago on this creek crossing. And we hunted it once last year in November and had a great hunt. Lots of deer running around. I've never hunted it in the afternoon or in early season. So I'm excited to see how the deer move through here. I've got a trail camera on this mowed lane just up the way. And I've got a few pictures of my primary target this year, buck we call him Kelsey. He's a 6.5-year-old, essentially a 6x5 with some kickers. And twice in the last week or so, we've had him right around 7 o'clock, 7:10, coming out down this lane. So finally got the right wind with good conditions, figured we'd come make a sit for him. He's actually been super active in the morning and in the afternoons in daylight. I got pictures of him 2 mornings around 8 o'clock in the morning. And there's been probably 4 or 5 different nights that he's been out, you know, the last 30 minutes of daylight. It's just been all over the farm. I mean, he's not really in one little spot. So for a 6.5-year-old, he's covering, I don't know, I'd say 6, 7, 800 acres, something like that. This is the spot I've been wanting to sit. We got acorns, got a front coming through, and I've got pictures of him here in the afternoon, you know, with the stand set up. So one nice thing about this year is it's been really dry. And so this old oxbow is completely dry. And so Ryan and I were able to walk the whole walk in the slough, which dropped us down below eye level for the deer. So we're able to sneak in here, set up the cameraman set, and we're all tucked in. We got about an hour and a half left to go. So looking for some good fortune on the first hit of the year. You gotta be kidding me.
Dude, that's awesome.
You were just saying how much you like that deer.
I told you.
You can't make this up.
Dude, he's impressive.
I mean, that's a buck. We never really named him. I refer to him as Crab Claw Jr. because 2 years ago, he was a pretty little 3-year-old 10 with little crabs. And we had quite a few encounters with him. And then last year, he was a real pretty 4-year-old, split G2, crab claw. And I was like, oh, it'll be interesting to see what he turns into. And he just showed back up. I mean, I found his match set probably 150 yards from here. They were sitting on top of each other. He was one of the bucks that shed really late. It was probably mid-March. And I told her, I was like, man, he's a good looking deer. I was like, should we let him get to 6? And I was like, I'm gonna have to see him in person. But we actually had a picture of him this morning, right before daylight, going back into the peninsula, which is, it's not too far from here. And so I didn't really talk about him in the opening interview because the buck I really want to shoot is Kelsey, and you know, that's what I was thinking about. But as I've been sitting here waiting, I was like, you know, that deer could come out and walk down this lane. Stark difference from last year. You know, we hunted 29 days for chubs. A lot of effort to get that deer down. And then here we are October 6th with a 5.5-year-old buck on the ground. I couldn't be more pumped. It's awesome. You know, it's funny. I started to ask you to, when you went to the house, to grab the Kubota in case we do shoot something. Well, we need to go back and get your truck, I guess. 'Cause we're in the Suburban.
Yeah, I guess he's got to go in my truck. It's going to be the biggest deer ever in that truck.
We're in the old Suburban.
Nicely done, my friend. Great shot, too.
Yeah, look good.
While Mike and Rye celebrate in the stand, back in northern Missouri, Justin is still waiting for the action to heat up.
Well, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for us here, as we had a close call this evening. That was the buck we were in here after. He didn't come and hit this scrape like he had been doing. He was at 49 yards, and I'm just not gonna push it with it the first time being in here, and we got that big cold front coming through tonight, so I'm not gonna lie, he's a tall one. He just ain't very wide, but we're gonna regroup, ride back in here tomorrow evening, and hopefully with that cold front, it gets him up on his feet a little earlier, and he comes and hits that scrape.
Back in Iowa, Mike takes up the blood trail.
It's just everywhere. It's just spraying. Yeah, he went up right there. He's right there. Look at the body on that thing. Dude, he looks so awesome. His mass is good, man. Yeah, his fours, split brows. He's a stud. Well, as you can see, the G5 Mega Meat did the trick. I mean, it put a hurting on him. He didn't make it hardly anywhere. I couldn't be happier with this deer. I don't actually have a lot of pictures of him this year. I've got a lot of history with him. But man, just seeing him in person, bladed beams and just great tine length, great mass. I'm super pumped. He's just everything you want in a whitetail. So we're gonna get him packed up. Tonight's gonna get nice and cold. It's actually Thursday night. I got a long day of work tomorrow, but after work tomorrow, we're gonna get him back out and take some nice photos and wrap things up then. Well, I got a 12-hour day in at the office, and Ryan, Nick, and I just got the deer loaded back up and rushed out here back to the farm to get some interviews done and take some nice photos. Just wanted to take the opportunity to go over some of the reasons we had success last night. I set that spot up 2 summers ago for all the reasons we were talking about yesterday in the tree, but one of which, early season, there's a lot of oaks right there, red oaks and white oaks, all dropping acorns. There's a water source there. Even on this drought year, there's a little bit of water still in that slough. And it's not too far from bedding. And it's got great access for me, entry and exit, to make the hunts. And it's just worked out really well for us. We've talked a lot over the years about October cold fronts. This is a great example. Yesterday was that first real solid north wind with the pressure on the rise. And I was sitting at work thinking, I gotta make it out tonight. And sure enough, the stars all aligned. First sit of the year, and an hour into it, we got this beautiful 5.5-year-old buck. walking into 10 yards. So I couldn't be happier. I mean, he made a huge jump this year. I wasn't quite sure. He just showed up 2 weeks ago. The pictures of him weren't super great, the first couple of them, and I was telling Ryan, I just couldn't tell what he did, but the last couple photos we had gotten of him, I was like, boy, he looks really good. And it didn't take me very long seeing him in person to realize how much mass he put on and all these points. So super fortunate to get such a great deer down on the first sit of the year.
With great conditions still present in Iowa, 40 miles to the west of where Mike found success on the river farm, Kaleb Greiner is making his first sit bow in hand this season.
Welcome back, guys. Today is October 7th, and I'm finally out for my first sit for myself for the year. I've been a little MIA the past couple weeks, but just to update you guys on what's been going on, youth season opened up here about 3 weeks ago, and we took Donovan out, Casey and I did. We encountered a really good buck, just an old 9 over on Lee's property that we're probably going to continue hunting later in the season. And I think Donovan was pretty pumped just to see that deer, but unfortunately he worked off the field. We didn't get a shot at him, but where I'm at today, I just got set up, but I'm overlooking a failed turnip plot. It looks like these deer have been hitting it hard here over the past couple weeks. This is probably one of the spots that I've been getting most of my daylight pictures. And I got pictures finally of that Guards and Hog Jr. I've been dying to get pictures of those two all summer long, and I just hadn't had time to go get my cameras out. Finally got pictures of them here over the last couple weeks, and they've been very consistent on this farm, just like I thought they should be. Both deer haven't been super consistent daylight-wise, but where Hog Jr. has been the most consistent is right where I'm at. He's been hitting this vine scrape that I made here a few weeks back, and he's been on here, I want to say, a couple times daylight. So we've got a really big temperature drop here tonight, so I'm really expecting these deer to maybe be on their feet a little earlier and later. It's about 5:30 right now, so I got about 2 hours left, so just need the sun to go down, deer start moving. With any luck, a big old buck comes walking by at about 20 yards. We'll see what happens tonight.
As Kaleb settles in overlooking the drought-stricken turnip plot, back in northern Missouri, Justin Luebrecht is heading to the same green bean cove as the evening before.
Guys, it's October the 7th, and we're back after that Bowser buck. Me and Tyler did a hanging hunt last night, and we had an encounter with him. He did everything we wanted him to do, except he didn't come hit the scrape tree where we've been getting pictures of him. He fed out and then fed away, so we had a big cold front move through the area last night. It dropped temperatures down into the 60s, so we're hoping that's going to be enough to get him on his feet, come hit this scrape like he has been doing. And we should be in for a pretty good evening. So we're gonna get settled in here. guys, that's the buck we're in here after, Bowser. That's the 4th night in a row that he's came out in this bean field. He's feeding away from us right now.
All Justin can do is watch and try to learn another piece to the puzzle known as Bowser.
That was the buck we were in here after. Whew. I'm not gonna lie, he's a tall one. He just ain't very wide, but we're gonna regroup, re-bite back in here tomorrow evening, and hopefully with that cold front, it gets him up on his feet a little earlier and he comes and hits that scrape.
I was sitting at work thinking I gotta make it out tonight, and sure enough, the stars all aligned. Yesterday was that first real solid north wind with the pressure on the rise. Super fortunate to get such a great deer down on the first sit of the year.
This is probably one of the spots that I've been getting most of my daylight pictures, and I got pictures finally of that Guards and Hog Jr. And he's been on here, I want to say, a couple times daylight.
Worth its weight in gold. It's the perfect phrase and description for how we feel about October cold fronts, especially during the early season. Bringing out the best chance to catch a buck walking during the daylight, bow hunters with tags in hand should do their best to take advantage of these high odds days. Mike Reed headed to a stand that has all the right ingredients for cooking up a once-in-a-lifetime kind of hunt, and though he was targeting the daylight active 6x5 known as Kelsey, his evening showed that you never know what might wander by. Looking ahead, all of the team carefully planned the next move as the pieces on the board continued to fall into place. We're not even halfway through the month, and great weather conditions are forecasted for the upcoming hunts, setting the stage for another round of action. In no rush to see these early moments fly by, we strap in, because one thing is for certain. Each flip of the calendar page will see us inching closer to when bucks exchange caution for rut field curiosity. The season's best days are ahead, the days when we are chasing November.